Well, hi and welcome to the DIY house. This isn't really my normal kind of progress update video. It's really just to share some tips I've learned or picked up along the way whilst working on the harling, or pebbledash as some would call it. The biggest problem is that the harling falls off the wall, it ends up getting mixed up with the cement and we just get chucked away. I've tried different ways to clean the harling and eventually I came up with this way. So today I really just want to share what I learned or what I've picked up along the way. First thing obviously is you need to pick up the harling. I just use my harling trowel for that. Putting it into buckets. More importantly though, if Mr. Robin comes along and asks to be fed, you can't refuse. The first thing I do is collect all the buckets full of dirty harling, pebbles, whatever, and then I fill each one to the top with water. Then I take my cement mixing attachment and put it into each bucket. Mix it up for about 20 seconds in each bucket until you've broken down all the cement and muck and whatever else is within with the gravel. At this point you can actually leave them overnight. In fact, I've done that where I was forced to leave them for several days. And when I returned to them, they were just fine. But the main thing is you must break it down within a few hours of collecting all the dirty harling. So getting back to the main cleaning process, I first select a bucket which is actually slightly bigger than all the other buckets. This one I just got from Lidl at some point. Then I took an old bucket and I drilled with a 4mm drill bit a whole load of holes in the bottom and on the sides. It only took a few minutes. Taking one of the buckets with the gravel in it, I empty out all of this kind of liquid that's there and any bits that have landed on the top. Then I fill it back up with water and go through the process again of mixing it with the cement mixer attachment. And once again pour out the liquid that's got the dissolved cement and dirt. You could do this a couple of times, or I tend to do it just a couple of times. You do it as many times as you want. Once you've done that, just fill the gravel back up with water just above the surface, and then you can start scooping out the top layers of the gravel into an empty bucket. You'll only be able to go down so far until you actually hit the dirty sand or whatever's underneath. You'll find as you're working, as long as there's water in it, the sand tends to drop to the bottom as you're scooping out. You'll be left with about half to a third of the gravel in the bucket. At which point, transfer that to the bucket you've just put a whole load of holes in. I tend to rinse out the bucket it's just come out from with the hose. As you can see, there's lots of sand still in the bottom of that. I tend to put it back into the same one that I've just poured it into. Then just transfer that to the large bucket which should be about half filled with water. And then, as you see, if I just place it in and lift it up, most of the sand is still sitting there mixed with the stone. So what you got to do, just fill it above the gravel, give it a good shake. You can see all of the sand falling out straight away. I do this about 4 or 5 times, and then I transfer the majority of it, of the gravel, harling, whatever you want to call it, and pour it in to the other empty bucket, or the partly filled bucket. I leave a little in the bottom of the bucket with holes, because sometimes there's sand still at the bottom of that. And now that there's only a few bits of harling at the bottom, it cleans a lot easier. So a couple of times, then empty it, pour that into the bucket. And basically everything you've got now, all of the harling that you just poured in there, is now clean, or as clean as it needs to be. At which point I take it over to the big bulk bags that I previously got, and just pour it in again, and it's completely ready for reuse straight away. As this job was, as I said, about 220 meters, I've used at least a bag and a half, a bag and a 3/4, a bulk bag of harling. That would have been at least twice that, which makes it very expensive. So as a DIY project, mixing your own cement, doing all your own labouring, carrying all the gravel up to the scaffolding, everything you can do to keep the costs down helps a lot. Now once you're finished with that, the large bucket, I just empty the water out, and you'll see that it's pretty much mostly sand and very, very fine harling. I just empty that back into the sand. So I've recycled pretty much all of it, and it didn't cause any problems reusing that with the harling, or the render should I say. So hopefully that's been a help for some of you. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider pressing the like button, subscribing, hopefully even sharing the video. Enjoy! Till next time.